Hey all. So I've been planning this series for a while, and essentially the idea is that while the game has been getting better at explaining things, there are some things that go unsaid or only really come up in the beginning tutorials, and it's easy to lose sight of some of those basics and their implications. This series will start with very basic concepts and work its way up to increasingly complicated ones. Advanced players may find some of this elementary, but maybe it illuminates an interaction that you had overlooked before. And if you are a new player, and that's why you're watching these, then welcome to the game. I've been playing it for a long time, so I really do think there's a lot to be recommended here, and I hope this brings some clarity to you. So let's start off with one of the most basic concepts, the difference between basic attacks and special attacks. So very broadly, basic attacks are those that generate power as you land them and don't use up power, as seen when you are just landing a combo, which we'll get to later. Special attacks are those that use up your generated power and do not themselves generate more. The difference between these two may seem obvious, but it's worth keeping in mind because certain mechanics key off of it. The one I always point to for this is that Green Goblin has a healing ability. If you are fighting him and it feels like he's just healing everything back, you're not making any headway, it's because he's healing based on the damage done with your basic attacks. But Goblin does not heal damage done with special attacks. It doesn't contribute to those numbers. And so if you use a champion who has particularly strong special attacks, or if you just keep hitting him and keep landing those big special attacks, then eventually you will overpower that healing. To break basic attacks down a little bit further, there are three types. We have your light attacks that don't actually move your champion forward. These are the ones you do by just tapping the right side of the screen. We have your medium attacks, which, regardless of where you are on the screen, will charge you forward to try and cover some distance before they land. You do these by swiping from left to right. And then we have your heavy attacks, which you hold down and release on the right side of the screen, and these you need to find openings for because they all leave you vulnerable on that short charge time. So if you just try and throw them randomly, you're probably going to get hit in response. It's worth being aware of the difference between your light and medium attacks and fully in control of them, because many champions have abilities that are keyed to just one or the other of them, such as the difference between Null's symbiote attacks and his necrosword attacks. One of them happens on his mediums, one of them happens on his lights, and they have two different effects for different parts of his kit. Similarly, some mechanics key off of light and medium attacks, but not off of heavies. For example, Darkhawk can cause lights and mediums to miss, but not heavies and specials. So an important point to make here is that each of those basics has one input. A light attack is one tap, a medium is one swipe, a heavy is one charge and release. But that one input may translate to more than one hit. For example, each of Tigra's mediums are 2 hits per swipe, and there are many heavy attacks with multiple hits, such as Hyperion's heavy. Light attacks, thus far, are always 1 hit. Maybe we'll see that change in the future, but for now they at least kept that part simple. This matters because of some ambiguity in the way we as a community use the word combo. A combo can refer both to your combo meter and to a basic combo. So your combo meter is simply counting how many hits you've landed without getting hit in return. This is the number that pops up in the upper left-hand side of the screen that says nice, amazing as you go, right? This is purely counting times you make contact with the opponent. It is not counting inputs. Your basic combo, on the other hand, is how many medium and light inputs you can chain together without having to find a new opening. So let's say you stun the opponent, you start hitting them. This is how many medium and light attacks you can land before you have to stun them again or intercept them or otherwise start a new combo. These two things are loosely related because they both rely on you landing hits, but it's very important to keep track of the difference between them. So to dig into that second one real quick, a basic combo ends when you perform your second medium attack or your fourth light attack since starting it, or if you just wait long enough for the inputs to reset. Besides this, the order does not matter at all. You can do medium, medium, that's a basic combo. You can do medium, light, 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 medium, that's your bread and butter basic 5-hit combo. You can start with a light and do light, medium, light, light, medium. All of these are valid basic combos. All of them will end because in each of those you see the second medium. But also medium, light, 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 light. That would end with the fourth light attack. You could do light, medium, light, 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 still your fourth light attack. You see what I'm getting at. This is also why sometimes if you try and charge forward using your first medium, and you don't wait long enough to try and charge again, or you don't dash back to cancel the combo and start over, instead of dashing forward, sometimes you will just execute your second medium and end the combo, and sometimes get hit in the face. So if you were wondering what that was, that's probably what happened. And then because not every medium input is a single hit, that quote 5-hit combo can actually be up to 7 hits. If we go back to the example of Tigra, her mediums are both 2 hits, so medium, light, 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 medium is actually 7 hits. 4 for the 2 mediums, 3 for the 3 lights. And this is where basic combos and combo meter start to diverge and matter. Because there are certain nodes, certain mechanics that rely on one and others that rely on the other. For example, special delivery requires you to throw a special every 15 hits. If you're using somebody like Tigra, that actually becomes more difficult, potentially. Because if you're just relying on mediums and lights, her mediums are going to take 2 hits off of that 15-hit counter, and you may not be any closer to a special. On the other hand, nodes like Strike Counter in War are based only on inputs. It doesn't matter if a heavy is 1 hit or 5 hits, it still counts as 1 heavy for Strike Counter. So being aware of the differences between your inputs and your hits landed, the difference between what you're doing with your basic attacks and what's happening with your combo meter can be very important to efficiently get through nodes like this. I also want to say that I have been using the term inputs versus hits because I find that the most clear. But Kabam and their nodes and abilities will often say attacks, where I say inputs. So an attack is 1 medium, 1 heavy, that kind of thing. That's how Strike Counter works. That's how Civil Warrior works, which is why when you fight him, a heavy, even if it's 5 hits, doesn't necessarily proc another armor, because his abilities say every 5 attacks. So watch for hits versus attacks, and that will help you differentiate. And that's where we're going to cut this one. I'm going to do my absolute best to keep all of these under 10 minutes. Hopefully you found this helpful, clarifying, and until next time, thanks so much for watching, and take care.